Throw those balls in, please. Grab that ball. Grab that ball. Thank you.
Our score is up. You know you want a guy who's going right there and stand. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, it's a little bit before noon. I'm Rob Aspero here courtside at the Manhattan Beach Open. With me sitting courtside, none other than the former Pepperdine standout and Pro Beach volleyball player Corinne Quiggle on the call in what is going to be a dogfight of a match featuring the current UCLA Bruins of Peri, Brennan, and Natalie Myszkowski facing off against Julia, Scoles, and Betsi. Flint, Corinne, your thoughts on our match as we get started with a service error?
Yeah, well, you know, both of these teams have won a game to get here already. And if they win another, I believe that they're on and a break until the next round. But Betsi and Julia, I mean, they're our last year's winners of the Manhattan Beach Open. They came through the contenders bracket. You can never count them out. But these UCLA girls are super scrappy and super aggressive, so I'm excited to see what they bring.
As you see, it's 1-0. Scoles cutting it down the line, dug by Myszkowski. Myszkowski gets up on the attack and rips it by the block. Scoles, they go up 2-0, Corinne.
Yeah, still early, obviously. We just started with a service error, and then they get one real point there. But Betsi and Julia are a very steady side-out team.
You're looking at Peri Brennan stepping back to serve. She's going deep to Julia. The correction to Betsi. Betsi looks, shoots off the block of Natalie. They get on the board at 1-2. Good looking play by Betsi. And Natalie was up nice and early, taking away that angle.
Yeah, Betsi's strength is her line. She's able to show something else, and wow, what a great serve by Julia there into the middle. Also, Julia's going to have that strength at the service line. She has a good top spin. She's an aggressive server, so they're going to be able to earn points that way, and Betsi's creativity on her offense.
We saw in our first, actually it's the second match of the day here on our stream on AVP Live, where Julia and Betsi, and Julia was on fire from the service line. Ball's knocked off the block, coming over, and Julia Scoles adding to the highlight reel.
Yeah, so explosive there by Julia.
I mean, Betsi put up such a good ball off that dig that all you could do was just wrist snap down. 3 serving to 2. You're looking at Julia Scoles back to serve, the 6'1" blocker from Mooresville, North Carolina. From North Carolina, Hawaii to USC. Bumps it off the net. Brennan goes top spin and strums the end line.
Great control from Peri. I actually remember Julia calling me while I was at Pepperdine, asking me, how do you like the beach? It's something I'm considering doing. She had her concussion in indoor and she wanted to play beach. She was just you know, looking into that option, and you know, I told her there's no better sport. So I'm glad that she pursued it, and she's had great success in the sport and will continue to have.
As you see Julia knocking down the 2-ball off of Myszkowski. A little option ball action going on here pretty regularly now, Corinne.
Yeah, it's definitely growing in the game on the men's side and the women's side. We're seeing it more and more. I mean, the Swedish boys who just won the Olympics, the Swedish jump set, that's, you know, spreading throughout everything and every level as well. I see the youth girls starting to jump set and starting to option, and it's going to be something we see all over.
Brennan now on the attack off the block of Scoles. Wisely done by the 5'7" defender from Laguna Beach, California. Brennan back to the service line. Her AVP best finish is a 5th ×2 all this year at Denver and Wapaka. Scoles perfect pass. Scoles from Flint and up. Oh gosh, that was into the corner, no touch. Ball's called long. Actually, we have the honesty's best policy.
So she must have gotten a touch at the top of the hands. But man, that was a beautiful swing. She took that ball so high, and it might have landed just out. But yeah, she got the top of the fingers. So point to Julia.
Referees get bailed out on the missed call. I know they got a tough job.
Good sportsmanship by Natalie there.
Julia with a serve into the net, tying it up at 5-5. Myszkowski's such a fun player to watch, and watching her going up to the ranks, first playing with Sophie Moore in her first season, then with Ensley Alden last season. Back-to-back service errors makes it 6-5. You know, one of the key strengths was for Betsi and Julia this morning was their serving. Betsi served 5 consecutive aces in a row in that first match.
Wow, that's an amazing stat to have. If you can serve well, you know, it just makes your point scoring so much easier. You're able to get on those runs.
Saw Natalie Myszkowski knuckle it into the deep corner and gets the winner, tied up at 6s.
Betsi has also been voted best server, AVP best server of the year. So, you know, it's such a strength. Both Julia and Betsi have a great serve.
Peri Brennan, the 5'7" defender, tough serve over towards Betsi. Betsi looks, shoots. Right there is Brennan. Bumps it by Myszkowski, no block. She goes cross court and strums a string. How many times is she going to hit that line?
Yeah, she's got it dialed in right now.
With that advantage going to Brennan Myszkowski up 7-6. It takes some serious precision to hit that sideline or end line with consistency. Tough float serve, pass by Flint, bumps it right on top of the net, and cutting it is Flint into the net, and it's 8-6 on the turn. Corinne, you think the wind's gonna play a factor here? Because I mean, it's coming onshore, so if you're looking at the camera view, it's coming from the ocean side to your left, to the right towards the strand.
Yeah, it's starting to pick up a little bit, but we haven't seen it that much. Technically, Betsi on that last point with the cut shot, that was a good idea with the wind, and now she is being put more on the bad side. But it's not too strong, but I think in the early afternoon it'll start picking up.
Deep float serve over towards Flint as she swings to the left pin, dug by Brennan. Myszkowski up on the bump set. Brennan chops it again off the sideline.
That's the third tag she's had on the line.
I think her official sponsor is Nylon. She just keeps hitting that thing. That's like the 3rd or 4th ball just in this set that she's hit sideline or end line. Deep cross-court serve over towards Betsi over her right shoulder. Ball's off the net, but she swings nonetheless. Brennan, good dig. Myszkowski bumps it high in the middle. Brennan denied, and Scoles rips out a yell, letting her know that this is my domain.
I was just about to say Brennan was going 4 for 4 there, so first one, but that's still a pretty good hitting percentage at 600. She's still feeling her rhythm as long as she doesn't let that get to her.
See what Scoles does on the serve. She's been mixing it up a little bit, leaning more towards the hard spin, and it goes hard spin over towards Natalie. Natalie gets up on the inside set, knuckle down the line and in the deep corner. Serving to 7, our score here in set number 1. Brennan Myszkowski taking down a really good team of Carly Kahn and Devin Sowers, 21-15 and 23-21.
Yeah, the winners of Wapaka are Devin and Carly, so definitely a good win for them. And, you know, they're having a great start here. If they can keep this side-out game that they have, that consistency and earning points when they have their serve, I think that we could have a really close and competitive match here. And Betsi and Julia missed quite a few serves already. I think we've got at least 2 for Betsi and 1 for Julia so early on.
Yeah, they're definitely not playing like they did out of the gate this morning in their first match against Katie Hogan and Kaylee McHugh. Great dig by Brennan off the Scoles attack, and wiping it off the block is PB or Peri Brennan.
They look really calm on defense right now, which is a huge strength.
4-point lead for the current UCLA Bruins of Peri Brennan and Natalie Myszkowski. In the box with them is the former, actually beach volleyball great, Dane Selznick, and the service ace as we go into technical timeout with Peri and Natalie up 13-8. Corinne, what is happening here and what are we looking at?
Yeah, 13-8 definitely feels a lot different than 12-9, but Betsi and Natalie seem very calm. You know, they're doing the things they need to do. They're finding the open court. Where Betsi and Julia aren't as successful on their offense, it seems. They're having missing a few serves. They're kind of still finding their rhythm. So I'm curious to see if they come out of this tech a little bit different. I'm expecting them almost to come out a little bit different because we know that they're an aggressive team, and right now I'm not seeing that much aggression from them.
Well, they've got a new coach in their box with them, and we know him as none other than Travis Mewurder, husband of former teammate of yours, Delaney. I can't even remember her original
Delaney
name.
Nutson was her original name, but yes.
To me, she's with that guy.
No, she is a stud in her own right, for sure. She is unbelievable. And now they have a cute little child, Austin. And yeah, Travis going to be the new FSU assistant coach, right?
That's right, with Brooke Niles, and they're going to bump Nick Lucena to the volunteer assistant position.
Honestly, they're so lucky to have Travis there. Travis is a phenomenal coach, a phenomenal player, great announcer as well, and yeah, I think that they're going to have a blast in Tallahassee.
I'll add on a good author and writer because he's a contributor to Volleyball Mag, and he's got a couple good books out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Brennan back to serve up 13-8 here in set number 1 in our Manhattan Beach Open. It's our 5th match on court number 1 as Flint is dug by Brennan. Bump set on the back set and chopping it inside the line is Peri Brennan, 14-8. I would have never called a 6-point lead at any point during this match.
Yeah, no, I definitely thought it would be a lot closer, but again, like I said, Peri and Natalie look really calm. They're setting up their defense really early. They're in the right spots. Betsi's having a hard time trying to find the open court where they are setting up and Betsi's picking aside, and they are able to have that half that's open.
Great pull block by Myszkowski off the shot, free ball. Scoles steps in on the free ball, right side attack. Myszkowski goes up, but Scoles thumps it over towards the Sip This Vibe tent.
That was an unbelievable spinning set by Betsi. She turned, stuck that thing right up there, and Julia came in, had that ball in front of her. Wow, great power from Julia.
Well, Julia aggressively wanting to take that free ball. Good pass by Myszkowski. Brennan back set. Myszkowski knuckles through. Flint there on the cover. Bumps that back set. Flint drops it down the line, and they're feeling a little momentum here on the Julia Betsi side.
Yeah, I've noticed they're pulling a lot on Betsi right now, and Betsi has been, you know, still hitting angles, and that's kind of where they're set up. So that middle ball is a perfect opportunity to take, and she took it.
I think you know, Betsi's not someone to pull on. She lets it rip every single chance she can.
Yeah, Betsi's got an arm on her, but she's also creative when you leave a block up there. So you have to play with her a little bit.
Julia is asking for a video challenge. She holds up this. No video challenge on the court on that serve.
Well, on the FIVB, if you hold up the challenge, the ref has to get down and check the mark. So I think that's what she's looking for. Like, come on, go check at least. We thought it was close, and he is now.
That's Scott Long up top and Dave Vandermeer, the R2, checking the ball imprint or the ball imprint protocol. Burning some calories. Now he has to do the Stairmaster back up to the crow's nest, and play stands is called. But technically, would a referee admit their error?
I would like to think that they do. I see them change. It depends, honestly, on the ref, but I think that he would. And it worked for them anyway with that missed serve right there.
The karma point. 11 serve to 15. Betsi Flint back to serve, the 5'10" defender from Phoenix, Arizona, but finds her home in Los Angeles now. Brennan, little spinner winner again. Guess what? Off the nylon again. Her placement is amazing, Corinne.
Yeah, she's seeing them set up really early, and she's just finding that open court every single time. That's going to be really important for them to finish this set out.
Brennan deep serve to Flint, just over left shoulder, bumps that trap set. Myszkowski just easily pokes it over into area 4-5. Point and switch at 17-11.
You know, and Natalie had a good court awareness just then. She had both of Betsi and Julia really close to the net. She recognized that, pushed that ball deep, anywhere deep, and that's the point for them. A lot of blockers might throw that right down, right into their lap. So good court awareness there, and again, I think that that's just a testament to how calm that they're playing.
Well, while we're on a timeout now from Betsi and Julia, I'm curious, Corinne, like from a player's standpoint, what are your thoughts on this 2024 season and the format that we're not going into, the vision set by Bobby Guarino, you know, with the Heritage League and Contender events?
Yeah, I think it's super exciting. I mean, we've been talking about if they could get a league going, how that could, you know, get fans to rally behind a team, and how cool that would be to have a real, you know, draft system to get in there. So I think that it's moving in the right direction. I'm super excited to see how it works out, and super excited for the league this year. I wish I could be playing in it, but you know, I'm happy to be a part of it here.
Well, it's always good to have you courtside. We got to be together at the Huntington Beach event to kick off the season, and that was such a fun event to work courtside.
Yeah, a lot of great play there, and this tournament already starting off with so many upsets.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting action here. April and Alex were upset. I think Haley and Kylie DeBerg also upset in the first round. Trey and Ryan.
Jurger and Rice are upset by Maddie Anderson, Maureen Kinna.
You know, they're a solid team. Maddie Anderson has played with Molly Turner in years past, and you know, they're solid. And Maureen, people don't realize she's scrappy back there. She's a really good player. LMU, she's from France, but plays at LMU under John Mayer, the coach of Betsi and Julia here.
You just saw Julia put that ball away, 12-17 to stop the scoring run, 5-1 scoring run, as Julia swings that one into the net. 18 serving to 12. As Natalie steps back to the service line. Deep hole for Betsi and Julia, but I mean, realistically, Brennan has been hitting some pretty solid shots to really keep Julia and Betsi off balance. And roll shot misses wide. That's kind of an awkward attack and fall by Betsi.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the hitting percentage, Peri's hitting 750 right now, which is a great percentage. Natalie's at 571. Betsi's hitting around 280, and Julia at 500. So yeah, we definitely see the difference on hitting percentage. We also have 5 missed serves from Betsi and Julia, and 4 from Natalie. That's just added one.
13-19 on the running of float is Flint, picked up by Myszkowski. Myszkowski pulling is Julia, and she's unable to get a controllable ball out of it. So that brings us to our first set point at 20-13.
That's a significant lead, 2013. I think if I'm Betsi and Julia right now, I'm kind of trying to find that momentum to take into the second set.
Brennan deep floats serve. I thought it hit the end line again, but instead floats just a tad bit long. 14 serving to set point number 2.
And now we're even at missed serves, 5 off.
5 free points for each side, and going for it is Scoles, picked up by Brennan. Bumps that, keeping in play is Brennan off the cable, dug by Betsi, and jumping and thumping is Julia Scoles. 15 serving to match point number 3 on the turn.
I think if Betsi and Julia want to find their rhythm, I want to see a lot more of those on-twos. I want to see a lot more of that aggressive playing towards the net.
Well, it seems their passing has been too far off the net to do anything, at least on the option ball. They just don't seem in a very good rhythm in this particular set. Julia goes towards Peri, knuckled over, picked up by Betsi. Julia, blind bump set. Betsi picked up by Natalie. Natalie on the right side attack, and she is denied, and Julia with a roar across the net.
Great athletic move by Natalie there, but Julia just really sealed well and clamped that angle. She had nowhere to go.
4-point scoring run for Betsi and Julia here in set number 1. Fighting off 4 set points. Peri on the attack. Peri cutting action for point, and set number 1 going to the team of Natalie, Myszkowski, and Peri Brennan as they go up 1-0 on Julia Scoles and Betsi Flint. Corinne, what are your thoughts after 1 set of play and see what just transpired here?
Yeah, I think Peri and Natalie played a really solid game. Betsi and Julia, I don't know if they were showing. They ran a lot of 4s or maybe straight up 2s, but definitely showing early that Peri had a lot of that angle, and she's taking a lot of those cut shots really quick and efficiently, and it's hard to stop. So I wonder what they're going to set up on their defense coming into this next set.
I always wonder what, if the teams that have coaches, what their coaches are telling them. Like for instance, you know, with the number 3 seed, Betsi and Julia dropping that set, they were down by as many as 7 in that match. What is the coach telling you?
Well, I think they did the right thing. You know, they started finding their rhythm, they found their momentum, and I think that's definitely going to help them into this second set. But, you know, when you're down that far, it is hard to have that intention and to go and win that set specifically. But all they can do is try to earn as many points as they can. You know, get as comfortable as they can, as calm, and find their rhythm on the court.
Well, we're getting ready for our second set here in Manhattan Beach. Can you describe the vibe and atmosphere here, Corinne?
I mean, Manhattan Beach is always one of the best tournaments. It's pretty lively. We got everybody out. The sun is shining. It's perfect temperature out here, and you know, it's just so nice to be here. It's everybody's favorite tournament, I feel like. It has to be.
It better be, you mean, or Corinne's coming after you.
I mean, we got people lining up on the pier a little bit. I mean, it's just going to continue to get more and more packed out here, but for a Friday afternoon, it's looking pretty good.
As I'm looking at the balance of attempts between these two teams, both Flint and Scoles have 9 attack attempts each, and Brennan and Myszkowski both at 10 attempts each. But you look at the hitting percentage, you pointed out, you have Brennan hitting 700, Myszkowski hitting 400 versus Flint's 111, but Julia is still hitting 556.
Definitely, as we talked about, bringing those passes forward and using that option, but that's a great deep serve on Betsi there. She can't really bring that pass forward.
The Flint shot dug by Natalie. Deep corner knuckle poking, and Natalie getting the winner. I feel like Peri and Natalie are really grooving with each other right now.
Yeah, and I mean, both of these teams have played together. I was going to say they just had Denver and WPAC in play, but Betsi and Julia have been playing together for quite a while now, and I just feel like they're more comfortable.
Joust went out by Julia. Julia knocks it off of Peri. All she can do is put her hands up and do a half jump. That could have been dangerous on this side because the way Julia was hitting in the first match, she was providing a lot of hurt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's definitely got some power in that shoulder.
1-1. Floats her, a little miscommunication. Natalie sticks out just one arm and keeps it in play. And pulling it, the angle is Julia, but she's unable to keep the ball in play.
Yeah, I think those little plays make the whole difference in the world in a game. Like just being able to stick out that shoulder instead of getting ace down the middle, that's huge. It translated into a point, and I think that they're doing that a lot right now.
Natalie Myszkowski stepping back to the service line. Myszkowski still no aces, but as I say that, she drops her first ace. She goes, Rob, I heard ya.
Yeah, what a great deep serve. And I mean, consistently, I think Peri and Natalie are trying to push Julia a little bit deeper, trying to make that option out of the question. And it seems to be working for them. I like that strategy. Now a short ball. So they're moving her back and forth.
And Betsi going for that deep cross-court corner in area 1 with a put away. Makes it 2 serving 3. Good looking spot for Betsi, who is a potent offensive threat always. Jump serve misses long, and Julia serving into the wind. You can tell she's serving upward towards that ball. As we look at Peri Brennan back to service on the 5'7" defender from Laguna Beach. Going into the seam, Julia with a pass. High ball set in the middle, knuckle pokey, one out, but by the left hand. Just, I feel like Julia and Betsi are just still in not really in rhythm with each other.
It looks like they're trying to create some of that energy on their side, trying to, you know, string those points together. But I definitely feel the same being on the side of the court. I feel that they're working really hard.
Yeah.
To create that, you know, energy between them. Where Peri and Natalie seem to just be flowing. You know, they don't have any pressure on them. They don't have. That's it.
As Betsi gets an ace, and that was kind of a weird ball because usually you can fish those out of the net, but the ball was passed so low into the bottom tape, and Peri didn't really expect it to come off the way it did. 4 serving 4. Brennan kind of passes by his left side, and Julia's always going to win out of that 100% of the time.
Yeah, so now we're starting to see the first few cracks in Peri and Natalie. You know, we've had a tight set and then an overset. So, yeah, exactly. So I think that Betsi and Julia, if they can take this and use it to their advantage, I think that we can see them push forward a little bit.
A little tougher serve, optioned over on the nut there by Natalie. Betsi on the free ball pickup. Betsi looks and cuts that one into the net, tying it up at 5s.
I like Betsi's response to that. She hit it into the net immediately. Hey, all good, right next ball, like, let it go, we're right here. Because she knows that this is the moment where they need to find that energy.
The point-by-point mentality. Myszkowski floats it over towards Betsi. There's that option ball dug by Natalie. Natalie gets up on the attack and cuts it for the winner. Great transition ball.
I just want to say that was a phenomenal pull dig by Natalie and a great set by Peri. I mean, that looked textbook.
Natalie stands at 6'1", the blocker from Manhattan Beach, California. Bumps that to the left side to Julia, and this time she does the hashtag don't pull on me. Natalie had a yellow package delivered at her front door. 6-6.
I love the aggression from Julia. I think we're gonna have to see them being in rhythm on their pass set and getting tight to the net, because I think Julia has a little bit of the advantage to get over the block.
Natalie outside, and Natalie going a wrist away on the winner.
I'd almost like to see Betsi and Julia be a little bit more straight up, like maybe normal ones. She's kind of running to the line, and they're opening up the angle a lot. They've had so many cuts in this game, Peri and Natalie.
Double contact called in the set. A little frustration there by Julia. I'm not quite sure it's because of the balls drifting and it got out of alignment with her hands, or if she just knew that she didn't have a good simultaneous contact on it. 8-6 on the turn. Natalie and Peri looking to take it out in a straight set sweep, while Julia and Betsi trying to find a rhythm here to force that third set tiebreak. Tight pass saved by Julia. Betsi swings off the block, and a good high swing. 7-8.
Great vision from Betsi there. See that blocker dive into the angle, used her hands off the top.
Betsi going over to the angular serve, but misses just wide. 9-7. For Myszkowski, again, AVP best fifth twice with her partner Peri Brennan at Denver and Wapaka. It's her 9th AVP event. And Betsi bombing out of the backside.
Yeah, there we go. That's the passing and setting. It's nice and tight. They're still pulling on those balls, which, you know, maybe wasn't the best option at that point, but really good opportunity by Betsi, and she took it.
Julia Scoles back to serve, and again, that's back-to-back service errors for Julia. Just not uncharacteristic of Julia right now. Flint knocking it down on the backside attack. Point going to Julia and Betsi. 9 looking at 10.
Betsi taking advantage of that pull and swinging into that middle, splitting the defenders on the other side. Really nice.
Myszkowski on the left side attack, dug by Betsi, good dig. Scoles right underneath it. Betsi, soft knuckler, dug by Brennan. Myszkowski on the option, and Julia just went a little too far.
Yeah, Natalie finding the small court over there and just making Julia change directions. I mean, great court awareness again.
And Julie got a good read. She just took one step too far over to the wrong side. Zigged when you should have zagged syndrome. Float serve misses wide. Haven't seen too many errors from Natalie Myszkowski, but instead we go 10-9 into the technical timeout with Natalie and Peri leading Betsi and Julia here in set number 2. Hey, crazy that we're saying that Julia and Betsi aren't playing in rhythm, but here they are only down by 1.
Yeah, and I think that they're finding it in moments. They're having stretches of runs, just like they did at the end of the first set. So this one as well, they're kind of finding those moments and pushing back a few. We'll see if they can continue to do that, or if they kind of find, it almost feels a little, just energy is flat a little bit.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Julia's come back from Paris because she's supporting her husband playing in the Olympics. And so that meant Betsi was off as well, at least for 2 weeks.
I mean, it's a big break. To their last domestic tournament was Huntington, and then they played a few internationally, and I mean, it was a big break between the two. They didn't play the Wapaka or Denver or Virginia because they're already into these tournaments, and you know, I know part of them, they're healing and recovering still. So yeah, it's hard to have like big breaks in your season sometimes.
Now, I remember when we were at the AVP Huntington, Julia actually had to withdraw from the match she's playing in because of an injury. And you figure this long break would be good so she can recover, rest, and just get her head on straight.
Julia.
Right. Julia also ended up getting married that day. Unbelievable. Such a cool event. The pictures were beautiful. So happy for them.
Nothing major, just the most important decision in her life. No big deal. Julia, tough serve down the line to Brennan. Pass tight on the net. Brennan shoots it and misses wide for the first time. It actually did not hit any sideline.
I mean, if that's your first and you're 11-11 in the second set, it's a pretty good record.
Definitely a fun player to watch because being a little, they say undersized, but she plays much bigger than that. Flint on the good dig. Scoles bumped it high in the middle, and off the block goes Betsi. And for the first time, Julie and Betsi have the lead in our match.
Yeah, they've just kept their head down, kept pushing. You know, we felt like it was a little energy was, you know, they were struggling to keep that energy, but you know, they're being consistent and they're finding their times, and I think that they're taking advantage of it.
Natalie shoots it down the line, picked up by Julia. Julia options, and a great option it is. 13 serving 11. She thought about the set. I'm sure Betsi was wanting to feast on something at the pin, though.
Yeah, but a good take by Betsi, caught him right in between the defenders.
13 serving 11. Brennan off in serve receive. Brennan denied, and Julia owning the air above Manhattan.
Yeah, now we're starting to feel them come alive. Now they're starting to get a few, and they even are celebrating together a little bit more. I really like this, and I think this is going to be their changing moment.
14-11 here in set number 2, and the team of Peri and Natalie take the timeout, and that is a pretty solid run. That is 5-point run for Betsi and Julia.
I'm trying, man. It's my feet more than anything.
It's so important to string points together. You know, they're not missing the serves, they're putting the serve in play, and they're letting their defense do the work a little bit. They're still having that aggression. Julia's serving well right now, but not top spinning or not doing anything too crazy. They're just trying to give themselves their chance on defense.
Well, I'm curious. I want to look at their hitting percentages right now because for the most part, it's staying pretty much the same, but it's blocking. I think that's really the big difference now because Julia's getting a string of blocks together, as you're saying, scoring that way. In fact, she had 0 blocks, now has 2 back-to-back blocks.
Yeah, Julia's definitely doing some good work at the net. Natalie's still pulling quite a bit, and she's making good digs there. I think she has about 4 digs currently from her pulls, so they're doing good things, but also kind of playing in different styles.
Brennan passes off net. Natalie bumps that right side and gets it up and over Julia as they stop the scoring run. Pull in a pair at 12-14.
Curious to see how Betsi and Julia respond from here.
I don't know where Peri's going to be serving. They've been trying to hit Betsi, but she is passing right back. Betsi gets up, looks, shoots, and goes cross court. You see that last minute move by Peri trying to do the Jedi mind trick on Betsi.
Yeah, I think a lot of them, as the defenders, were getting in trouble a lot running those 4s, kind of taking off for that shot a little early. And both of them were kind of doing that to each other, and now we're seeing Peri do it a few more, and Julia's being a little bit more disciplined. So.
Look at that side spinner winner by Peri Brennan, 13-15 on the turn. What's Corinne's favorite method of playing defense? Let them see you in that angle and...
I won't tell my secrets. I'm still coming back to play. I can't let everyone know. No, actually, part of my favorite play is to let my blocker do what they want. A lot of them take ball or see what they read and allow them to have the freedom to clamp when they want.
Freedom to clamp, sounds aggressive.
Yeah.
Wrist away, over on 1, and again, it's off the nylon. Peri Brennan.
We should have kept track really on how many times she tagged a line. I think it's got to be over 5. Her precision is really, really great right now.
Well, earlier, Vic and I were talking about how it's pretty common now in the international game, going over on 1. Great pickup by Myszkowski. Bumps it to the left side, no block. Great overhand dig by Julia. Julia on the attack and through the block of Natalie, 16-14. I love the way the blockers of the bigs are playing in this one. They're playing defense.
Oh, yeah, and they are playing defense very well. They're controlling those digs perfectly to their partners. I'm very impressed by the pole level here.
16-14, Julia going towards Peri. Natalie bumps that to the middle. Peri denied, and Julia double bicep flex for the winner.
Yeah, Julia's definitely starting to control that net a little bit more in this game. Peri, second she gets a little tight, Julia's going to be able to take that ball early.
17-14, Natalie passes, option by Peri, dug up and over. Natalie fakes and ends up going. She took the fake approach and then did a lunge jump to put it away.
Yeah, again, they just look so comfortable. They're willing to make those risky plays, and times where it's, Betsi and Julia on a run. They've had a few points. It's impressive, their demeanor on the court.
Brennan going for that deep corner off of Betsi. Option ball dug by Brennan. Natalie, great set, save, knuckle deep. Betsi on the free ball, or a good pass. Betsi goes wrist away and bangs it off of Natalie. 18-15.
I think that's great awareness by Betsi. She's been going middle, middle, middle. Natalie finally takes that step. She doesn't get all the way to the line on that ball, and then Betsi brings her to the line and gets it outside of her body.
That's a whole lot of court awareness going on out there. Can't just keep it in play because they're going to get that ball and run something on you.
Oh, yeah.
Betsi on the shallow serve to Peri. Natalie, high ball set. Brennan dug by Betsi, and getting out of the way is Betsi. Julia gets the free ball by Betsi. Natalie free ball pass. Peri now right side attack, pulling is Julia. She gets a paw on it. Great set by Betsi. Look out below. My, oh my, it's thunder from the sky.
Yeah, when Julia's running in like that, you definitely want to stay there. She has such an arm. and she used that. That was a great tight set by Betsi. Natalie pulled off the net, and Julia just took full advantage, smashing it into the middle.
It wasn't safe for children if you're on the receiving end of that. And Betsi serves that one in the net, 19-16 on the side switch. That bump set by Betsi, I got to give props are due, but that was a blind bump set to the left pin.
Yeah, perfect, honestly. Really beautiful set. Any hitter would love to hit that ball.
Myszkowski back to serve, 16-19. Shallow serve to Betsi, hand set by Julia, chopping it. Brennan on the dig, bumps it by Myszkowski. Myszkowski goes, correction, Brennan goes into the net, bringing us to set point for Betsi and Julia, serving to 16.
Yeah, we're starting to see just a few more errors by Peri and Natalie here. Betsi and Julia are cleaning up, staying consistent all the way through.
Natalie with the pass is tight, and Brennan swings, dug by Betsi, bumps it by Julia. Betsi looks, and she pops the cap in the corner, and we are going to our first third set tiebreak here on court number 1, Corinne. What are your thoughts on what Betsi and Julia did to get back into this one?
Yeah, well, the biggest difference I see is, 1, they were making their serves. 2, their demeanor on defense. They were so calm. They started to take over that calm. Betsi wasn't running to the line. Betsi was staying pretty solid where she can get to everything. And I think that's a really good motion for them. Kind of let Julia do the work at the net, not try to fake so much, not run to the line before the ball's hit. You know, see what's given to you and then go take it. I think that they found their rhythm on defense and their consistency in their serving.
Actually, weird to look at the stat sheet. You'd think that Peri and Natalie are dominating this match, but I mean, in all reality, it's tied 1-1, and the numbers are lying to us. But we are looking, I mean, they each have an ace. Blocking-wise, Julia's turned it on. Even the attack percentage, it's biased towards or favoring Peri and Natalie. And offensively, once again, you're watching the 2024 AVP Manhattan Beach Open. I'm Rob Aspero with Corinne Wiggle, stepping on here for one with me, and then comes back on with Victoria Dennis to close out the day. A lot of volleyball happening. We'll still be around scouting the other play on other courts, getting ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow is Survival Saturday, which turns up the heat even more.
Yeah.
How's it like playing in those, Corinne? I would never know.
Saturdays are fun. Sundays are even more fun. So, but yeah, last MBO we played through a hurricane on Sunday. It was
That's right.
kind of crazy. We showed up at 7 a.m. Oh, we're in a medical timeout here on court 1. So a little 5-minute break here. They have 5 minutes to take while she's seen by a medical provider.
Yeah, so it's Peri, Brennan, and Natalie Myszkowski are taking medical timeout. So as Corinne was saying, we're going to have a 5-minute pause, probably a little less than, more like 4 at this point. So she's taking you through what's happening here. Looks like the trainer is massaging the lower back of Peri Brennan. Not quite sure when that happened, because she looked solid the entire second set. Unless it was just something nagging the entire second and just continued to get aggravated as she continued to play through it.
Yeah, not sure, but we did see her being a little bit more tentative. Maybe she made a few more errors at the end of that second set, so maybe something was bothering her throughout the game.
We got a pretty solid crowd down here at Manhattan Beach, the VIP lounge overlooking courts 1 and 2, and as they partake in all their refreshments, some alcoholic, some non-alcoholic, but mostly the former rather than the latter.
And most importantly, shade up there, and maybe some AC.
Yeah, we have to be careful in our broadcast position because we have family members of the teams right next to us. I'll just tell you when Corinne said it. So we are waiting in a medical timeout. I hope you're visiting avp.com for all the scoring updates. If not there, you can always go to BVB Info and get the information there. I believe there may be an issue with the updating scores. So if it's not updating on the avp.com website, again, that's going to be over at BVB Info. Actually trying to pull my information up as well, but we are talking about upsets here on the women's side of things, and what ones were the most surprising to you, Corinne?
Well, I mean, April and Alex is a pretty big upset in my opinion. They're Olympic gold medalists. I know that they've had kids, each one, boys, but yeah, it's definitely interesting, and I wonder what their season has looked like, because they played in Huntington. That was their first tournament back. It's amazing to see them back on the court. I mean, they just bring so much attention, and they're just idols for the sport. We all look up to them, so it's fun to see them out on the court, but definitely an upset for them. But I have full faith in them that they'll be able to crush through that contenders bracket. I mean, those two, if it's anyone, it's those two, or Betsi and Julia like they did last year. So losing the first round, I mean, it's a double elimination, so they're not out until they're out.
Well, I was looking at the Alex and April's matchup, but if you look at who advanced, it's a bunch of the young guns that are coming out. Maya Gessner, Jacinda Ramirez, actually Maya Gessner of Cal, and Jacinda Ramirez, recent graduate of LMU. Then they face Maddie Anderson, who just graduated from Florida State, and Maureen Kinna, also from LMU.
Yeah, I mean, these college girls, we've had so much talent all throughout. I mean, it's so deep here in America. We've got so many good girls playing in college, even high school girls that are playing here, like Sarah Wood. I mean, just
a mere 16 years old. Yeah. Ashley Pater, who just turned 19 the end of July.
So impressive. The level is so deep.
Well, it's like that one year when Megan Kraft and Delaney Maple in 2019 were playing in the quarterfinals of the Hermosa Open, and that was a big deal.
Yeah. We actually lost to them to let them into the quarterfinals, so it doesn't make me feel great. That's okay. Hermosa's still one of my favorite tournaments. So.
Well, that year it was such. I don't think there's ever been a bad tournament in Hermosa, because you had Xana Muno playing with Chrissy Jones, who had a great showing. Just some new names really coming up and elevating. So, it was a great tournament to watch. It looks like our 5-minute medical timeout is done. We got Travis Mewarder walking in front of us, sporting his new burgundy and black gear that says Florida State on it. Travis Mewarder is going to be I think the calendar child of Florida State here probably the next week or so. He's grinning at us courtside. Brennan passes tight. Brennan off the block of Julie in the antenna. That is excellent planning or strategy by Brennan, tooling the block and going off the antenna so she can't even get it off the block to play.
Yeah, really nice shot. She does seem to be walking a little gingerly, but we'll see. So if I were Betsi and Julia, I'd probably be serving her too. I know that they have been, but she seems to be taking things a little lighter than she has.
They got a 1-0 lead as we start our third set tiebreak. And Betsi, cross court, top spinner.
Again, Peri making that move to the line. I'd love to see her stay really true in that angle. Make Julia and Betsi think a little bit more.
Julia serving Peri and serve receive. Good pass by Peri. Peri cuts it, and Betsi made the move, but was about 2 steps behind. And that brings Natalie Myszkowski back to serve. Myszkowski, the 6'1" blocker. Correction, 6'0" from Manhattan Beach. Betsi, good pass to the right side. Back bump set by Julia. Knuckle pokey, easily put down by Flint, tying it up at 2s.
Yeah, I think a big change that we've seen in Betsi and Julia's game is pushing that ball, that set, a little bit tighter so that they have that pokey option if Natalie stays. They want to make Natalie stay.
2-2 here in our third set tiebreak. Natalie goes to the top spin roll, dug easily by Betsi. Betsi now in the attack. Great overhand dig by Natalie. Trap set, joust, and we got a net violation on Julia, and she knew it immediately. She got a little too aggressive.
Just skimmed the top of the net there. But good opportunity for Natalie and Peri there. They're switching up 3-2 here.
We've got the bun side of our set going on, the first 5 points. When are we going to get to the meat? That's what, 7 through 11 in that range?
Yeah, the third set can be so interesting because you could start out really strong and carry it on because you have the momentum, or I've seen people start out 5-0 and kind of lose it.
Scoles bouncing it on the thumper. 3-3. Scoles looks like she barely puts in the efforts in the swing, yet they still have the same effect. They just thump and bounce. Myszkowski, good ball to the net. Bumps at the left pin, knuckled off the block, and another net violation on Julia Scoles. I don't think I've ever seen her net twice in a set.
Yeah, that does seem like quite a few so early on, too.
Really disciplined blocker. I mean, she's played alongside Tina Gradina and other great blockers, Megan Kraft at SC.
The only thing I can think of is maybe she's getting a little tired or not aware so much of how she's pressing, but I think that they're siding out just fine and they're keeping it even at 4-4.
Well, she torched that last ball and they Natalie ended up pulling down the line. That could be dangerous. Betsi, good flat serve over towards Natalie. Bump set high in the middle, knuckled off the block, saved by Betsi. This ball's got to come over. High free ball, who steps in? Natalie. Peri fakes the approach, back bump set going blind, cuts it, dug by Betsi, bump set by Julia. Betsi, cross court ripping off of Brennan. Advantage going towards Julia and Betsi at 5-4.
Again, that's that patience I've been talking about on defense. That was a great weight by Betsi. I know Peri was faking like she was going line and then went to the cut, and Betsi's right there.
Betsi just barely off the cable, up and over it goes Natalie. Bumped it high in the middle. Betsi, cross court, dug by Natalie, saved by Peri. Great set, knuckled through the block by Natalie. And we got 5-5.
I mean, we're staying with each other. They're going point for point here. It's a really impressive start to the third set.
You know, while we've got some dead time here, how about that 47-45 set over in the Denver in the first round of the qualifier?
Yeah, insane. I couldn't imagine going to 47 in a qualifier.
It's funny seeing the response of the team that lost. Is Savannah Thomas was one. Yeah, I forgot who her partner was, but he's like, that was tiring.
Yeah.
Deep serve at 5-5. Betsi, good pass. High bumps it in the middle, and Betsi surgically putting a stamp in the corner. 6-5. And if Peri is playing somewhat injured, she's doing a great job.
Yeah, we can't really tell from here, so.
Julia back to serve over towards Natalie. A little miscommunication. Blind bump set. Natalie's going to take a rip anyways. And she goes to her stamp in the corner. 6-6.
Going for point, copying one high line to another high line. I mean,
30 serving 30.
Yeah, just going back and forth.
They've been going to Betsi. Will they change it up or will they stick with the same strategy? Betsi it is. Bump set. Right side pin. Betsi blocked, covered by Julia, and we have a net violation on Betsi. And the scales go the other way as the advantage goes 7-6 for Natalie and Peri.
I was going to say, it actually puts quite a bit of pressure on the side out team when you go point for point, because you don't want to be the team to give up that side out first.
Natalie dropping floater. Julia sets high ball in the middle, and ripping it off of Peri is Betsi, and that's the Betsi we're used to seeing. 7-7.
I think the ref was expecting them to say something about the set, but he waited, looked at him.
The set criteria is always a fun one, so subjective.
It's so subjective. Changes so much tour to tour as well.
Good pass by Peri. Peri dug by Betsi. Getting underneath it is Julia. Set to the pin, ripping it, and missing long is Betsi. 8-7 at the midway point, and the side switch.
Still, this game is going, and they're kind of answering with similar things. I know Peri and Natalie kind of broke that streak and got that 1 point up, but Betsi and Julia are still sitting here with the side out, so an advantage to tie it up at 8-8.
It's crazy, even if you serve Betsi deep, she's capable of passing a good ball that Julia can pound, as we have a service error to tie it up at 8s. Julia back to the service line. Back-to-back service errors. They are emulating each other, Corinne.
They are.
I think you got in their heads.
I hope they can't hear me.
9 serving 8. Teams battling, but having to go through some unforced errors. Betsi, high pass, back set to the left side. Rolling it, saved by Myszkowski. Good pull, but Peri's unable to keep it in play.
That was a great touch by Natalie there, and good vision by Betsi to know she's out. I've got her. She pulled on me early. She didn't line up perfectly, but Natalie made a good turn and got a touch on it.
9 serving 9. Looks like Peri's staying a little deep in serve receive. I'm curious as to why that is.
Is anybody from AVP here to check people in?
Ball stuffed at the net by Julia on Natalie, and the tables have turned yet again. Advantage for Julia and Betsi, now up 10-9.
Well, Julia was dominant in the second set with her blocking, but we haven't seen as much of it in this third set, but maybe we're starting to.
Peri bump sets low to the left side and taking a rip. Dug by Betsi. Julia on 2. Dug, actually not Dug, and Julia the first 2-point lead here in our third set tiebreak at 11-9.
Feeling maybe they're wondering if they should take a timeout or use the switch instead as their little break of that momentum.
Betsi Flint back to the service line here on your near side. 11 serve to 9. Deep serve misses long. The freebie for Natalie and Peri. Now Peri has a tough moving float serve as well. Let's see what she does. Shallow serve, Julia on 2, and that's why they don't want good passes from Betsi. It's a guaranteed offense, 12-10.
I definitely like their strategy before, serving her high and deep or short, you know, trying to cause some confusion on that pass to set so that Julia can't go on 2.
High pass by Natalie. Drop shot, grabs the line. I think Betsi would have had it because she asked if it was in, but she pulled back last minute, but it was right in front of Dave Vandermeer, R2. It's like because she was there, but pulled back her arm.
Yeah, hard to tell too when you dive over the line. Then you're moving the line, and you can't always tell, oh, it hit the line, but did I move it? But I think our R2 got a good look.
11-9. Good serve, Julia on 2, dug by Natalie. Will they turn it right here? Natalie on the swing, dug by Betsi. Julia looks, but bump sets high in the middle. Betsi, dug by Peri. Natalie bump set to the left side. Natalie out the correction, Peri out the cable, dug by Julia, bump set right side. Julia swings high and hard, and the extreme angle winner. She fades and falls.
Yeah, Julia finding that sideline. A lot of those balls kind of to the pocket or to the middle, and everybody's taking advantage of that. Julia was the first one to cut that angle sharp. Julia does a great job too of taking that ball super high so she can snap on that angle. It's a really good swing.
Well, they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And the dirty ace winner, or the sorry, not sorry ace.
I think she'll take that in this game for sure.
And we will have our first match point for Julia and Betsi.
Yeah, Betsi and Julia just looking really steady right now.
Deep serve pass by Myszkowski. She wasn't fully committed to taking it. Cut shot misses wide. Point, set, and match going to Julia and Betsi, our number 3 seed, as they defeat Natalie, Myszkowski, and Peri Brennan 2 sets to 1, 16-21, 21-16, and 15-11. Thoughts on our match here on court number 1, Corinne?
Yeah, well, both teams played great. Natalie and Peri definitely took that first set by storm and had that first half of that second set too. I mean, just phenomenal gameplay, super steady and calm, and then Betsi and Julia found their rhythm. So I'm sure we'll see more of both of them, but good game by both.
Well, coming up next, actually need to add, for Natalie and Peri, they drop down to the contenders bracket. They're still alive here. And then moving on after the victory here on court number 1, the Betsi Flint and Julia Scoles will face the winner of the number 11 seed, Sarah Hildreth and Tegan Van Guts. Or
I think,
was there a switch on the...
I believe it's Chang Hughes, if it's this court. Chang Hughes versus Hodel and York. Zolani Hodel and Kaylee York, who are going onto the court now over here.
Well, actually, the Flint and Scoles will face in their next match Tegan Van Guns and Sarah Hildreth, and the winner of the matchup between them and Piper Furch and Lindsay Sparks. And here we are waiting for Sarah Hughes and Kelly Chang facing off against Zolani Hodel and Kaylee York in just a few moments. I'm Robin Sparrow for Corinne Quigle. We'll be back on the hour. Actually, we're a little behind. We have to allow our athletes to warm up for 10 minutes, approximately 10 minutes. We'll be back on.
Should be at 5.